Hey everybody, welcome to Black Spring Live on your Thursday. And if you are joining me for the first time, as always, you are welcome here. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are considering tuning in at this particular time, I will be implementing the actual or enforcing, if you will, I'll be enforcing actual this will be a topic-based stream and not a growth stream. So I will not be doing as much of that engagement on this stream. However, there will be a stream. There will be other streams, but they will be, I will announce that you will see that in the title prior to the stream becoming available to you. So I just want to say right away, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. After watching Speaker Pelosi's Thursday press conference, as I tend to do, I just want to start out by saying that we are a nation that was built on principles of freedom. Hi, Snapzilla Gorilla. How are you doing? Nice to see you. Shout out to you. And okay, so so we're a nation that was we were founded on principles of freedom. We're talking human and natural rights, okay? But we have a speaker that gets on her press conference and says, hey, think big. She closes out this morning saying that she's taking the advice of, I guess, an advisor Powell, that the interest rates are so low and think big, and oh my gosh, just so much virtue signaling that she presented in reference to California and New York. Talked about how value-based both Governor Cuomo and Gavin Newsom both are, this is kind of amazing. I don't know, America, when are you going to wake up to the con? I mean, you can't. How can the Democrat points stand? How can they stand? There's so many holes. You'll fall right through. Hi, Adrian. Nice to see you. I mean, at one moment she talks about, the Republicans, they want to give, big tax breaks and they want to pay off the top 1%. And, that seems to be, that's every cycle. Same drizzle, same dribble. Okay, yeah, she talks about, and they want to do that on the backs of generations. Yeah, she turns around and says, think big, and makes this 10 cents coffee analogy, which is, it's laughable, but it's also poor representation. We've got very fiscally irresponsible Congress. And I've said this more than one time, on more than one occasion. And I mean, we are a debtor's nation, whether anybody wants to believe that, accept that. There's plenty of evidence to support that. You just have to go out. You just have to look for it. It's there. I'm going to go into some more things here, but she talks about right away. She talks about government and the need for government, and that we have to respond scientifically. You have to, the evidence base is, the evidence-based way, and heed isolation. And, when we talk about Speaker Pelosi, if anybody knows anything about her record and I'm not even talking about her constituents. She's obviously not, she's do as I say and not as I do. And that's a common theme, a common thread. Hi, Iman Bond Flow official. Nice to have you on here on Black Spring Live. And it's just, this essentially is a loan. The stimulus package is actually a loan. These direct payments that she talks about, it's still a loan. I mean, I don't think that most people, even, and in our education system, they don't really teach Americans about, where our money, where things come from. Our economy is based on what's already there, what's already in the pot. Okay, it's not raining, printing money. She wants to, print money. And to me, the way they want to print it is despicable. Snapzilla Gorilla says, I don't need or want any government. And I'm right there with you, Snapzilla Gorilla. I don't want it. I don't need it. But you've got some of these people, as long as you promise them free stuff, that's who they're all about it. They're down. They're down for anybody that will throw them something that they didn't have to work for, that they didn't have to come up with. But they don't realize that it's coming. It's always a loan, and the government always gets back whatever, can always take back what they supposedly give you. And this is a loan, ladies and gentlemen. These payments, these direct payments, the small business loans, all of these initiatives are, it's a loan. It's a loan. So I'm just going to give you a few other points in here. Of course, Nancy's touting more government. Oh, even subsidies. I think she even wants subsidies for New York and California. And now they're screaming, New Orleans. Oh, New Orleans is the biggest place in the world now for this pandemic. It's the biggest place in the world. And then under her breath, she mentions Mardi Gras being, I guess, maybe even a part of the, a factor in that a contributing factor to, New Orleans having their surge, or the amounts that they have on the pandemic. So she also talks about more protections. She talks about FMLA and OSHA protections. I mean, all of these government institutions and programs that they just want to flood. Like, where is the slush that they keep talking about? If there was an existing slush, then why don't you get rid of it? If the Republicans created slush, why don't you get rid of it? But instead, you're adding alphabet soup programs. They're taking advantage of this pandemic. And I think it's the taxpayers, we're going to pay dearly. Hi, American Life in the Philippines. Hi, hi to you guys. And Patrick Jane Forums is here. Nice to see you. Nice. You said I have glasses like yours. Well, hey, I'm just trying to follow the lead. Trying to keep it together. We've got Deborah's Secret Recipe. Hi. She says, hello, Pole. Thank you. Nice to see you here. I'm glad you came in. And now we have Patrick Jane Forum says at American Life in the Philippines. Hello, friends. Hello to all my friends from the Philippines. If you're here, wherever you're from, welcome to the live stream. Oh, and just FYI, if you are here, there will be another stream later this evening, but it will be I will have a special guest on that stream. So it's going to be 7 Pacific Standard Time, and it's actually going to end up being on 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're around for that, then be glad to have you there. But that will be it's actually going to be a focused guest. And then of course you're always happy to hop on, but it will not be a growth stream. And then the growth stream parameters will be coming up later. And then I'll have an actual, I'll have a separate growth stream, but this platform will not be that. Okay, have a lot of people checking in. TG Tube UK, hi, how are you doing? Nice to see you here at Black Spring Live. Okay, something else from American Life in the Philippines. But yeah, so Pelosi is touting more local and state government. We need to do more there. Oh, she even said SNAP. We need 15% increase for food stamps. I mean, can we get any more? Of a welfare tone out of this? It's like welfare state, or make up your mind, welfare state or one party state, because that's, I think people, it's for anybody, whether you follow politics or not, or follow government or not, you're probably confused by what is going on. You're not seeing any resistance from some of the Republicans on some of these draconian measures that they put in place. By the way, there's a new video that I have that talks about some of these draconian measures and some of the extremes that they're willing to go to. Some things they're not talking about. They're talking about what fits their narrative as always. And not to mention that you have people that actually want to see this economy crash. They want to see it crash. We've been bankrupt, more than twice, at least. Hi, Derek C. Williams. This is late to the party, but greetings to Black Spring with Autumn. Watching you live on YouTube from Philadelphia. The alleged. I love the disclaimer there. It's very nice. Nice touch, Derek C. Williams, and welcome to the Black Spring live stream. I'm going to keep dropping some things here as everybody comes in. Hi, Patrick Jane Forums. It's a great connect here. Patrick Jane Forums. You can check him out. Great content, great resource, great personality, great YouTube personality, same as Derek C. Williams. Please check him out. He's a great platform, great content creator. I think just all around great resources. Okay, we have shout outs coming in through there. And also, there's nothing new under the sun in this situation. When it comes to Pelosi, she talks about she wants $200 billion for state and local government municipalities. Oh, this is a public health issue. And, but not to mention, I need to dig a little deep, but I'm hearing that there's a $25 million in pay raises on this last measure that they proposed. In House, $25 million in raises for House representatives. Probably for the Congress overall. So let me hit the button here. Hi, Spirit of Liberty. Just got in. What's good? It's nice to see you. Says your quote new normal end quote host. Wash your hands, shelter in place, have your papers, please, and stay safe. Safe from. Yeah, you're right. My gosh, the new norm. Yeah, it's a lot to take. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot. It's so much going on. Thank you for that. Let's see. Patrick Jane Forums, respect from Derek C. Williams. And then here again, she can't do these press conferences or any conference without tipping her hat to the Pope. Oh, well, Pope Francis offered a prayer. You got to take responsibility. I mean, here again, it's just I can't make this stuff up. And I don't really see how people cannot really see what's going on here. I mean, she talked about, there will be a vote. Of course, it's Friday. The vote's supposed to come through on Friday. But I'm going to tell you guys, honestly, I think she's just toying around with this thing. I think, they're going to just keep adding things. She talked about what they would not add. She quotes trickle down economics. She talks about, she kind of mocks whether you're Christian or wherever you are. She says, oh, well, I tell people that resort to prayer. Oh, science is the answer to our prayers. And I mean, it's just a lot. It's so much hypocrisy. It's so much fleecing. It's so much debt. I mean, if we're a debtor's nation, then we're going to be less free, right? You can't be a debtor's nation and continue to swell and just pork up the bills. I don't know. It has to. I really don't know what the response is going to be. And most of these things that she's talking about, they have nothing to do with, she says, oh, this is all about the coronavirus. She really outdid herself with the mockery this morning. It's It's all about the coronavirus, is what she said. And that couldn't be further from the truth, right? You know, she talked about, of course, the postal office bailouts. It's just $1,200. I have a comment here. If anyone doesn't see the blatant, overt, in the open, broadcasted, public, wildly flaunted attempt at taking more money and more power for government, we need to force term limits on Congress. Well, I can certainly get on board with that. I mean, because our government was never meant to be as large as it is. And, you know, every time she throws something in there, talking about FMLA, OSHA protection, and they just keep growing. They just keep growing the government, creating more jobs and spending more money. And not to mention, this is still an election cycle. I mean, how many of these people are donors that, you know, are special interest? This is special interest and more of a donor. I mean, to me, it's like a donor safety net that they're creating in the guise of this pandemic. And for anybody who doesn't think it's been politicized, how could it not be? If you don't see it, you won't ever see it. I mean, I think the first wave of direct payments were supposed to go out, I guess, I don't know, April 6th. But I don't know if that's going to happen because of the amount of, you know, delays or whatnot. But in all of that, I wanted to share a little bit of something with you, and I will share it as much as I can. This comes from the Presidential Library. This is from 1964. And maybe I'll add an opportunity later. I'm only going to do like maybe the first 4 or 5 minutes of this particular video. It's very apropos to what's going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm sure you can appreciate something, and you can appreciate something from this. Give me just 1 second here. I'll be right with you. And thank you for tuning in to Black Spring with
by TV
Autumn.
For Goldwater Miller on behalf of Barry Goldwater, Republican candidate for President of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, we take pride in presenting a thoughtful address by Ronald Reagan. Mr. Reagan.
Okay, hang on 1 second. I have a comment, and then I will, Patrick Jane Forums, I don't want to leave your comment out before I start this. She talked about Repubs putting in fluff while the Dems tried to get the green deal in there and a bunch of other crap. Dems do not care about the people or the Constitution. They only want power. Absolutely. And she's power struggling all of the time. You know, this woman actually thinks she's the president of the United States. She thinks she calls the shots. In fact, I hear she tells world leaders that she's actually in control. And, a resident of her own mind. But I will go ahead and play this. The first 3 to 4 minutes of this is powerful. So if you can handle it, I'd like to have you around. If you're not, we'll see you. We'll be around. Thanks for tuning in to this segment of Black Spring.
Thank you and good evening. The sponsor has been identified, but unlike most television programs, the performer hasn't been provided with a script. As a matter of fact, I have been permitted to choose my own words and discuss my own ideas regarding the choice that we face in the next few weeks. I have spent most of my life as a Democrat. I recently have seen fit to follow another course. I believe that the issues confronting us cross party lines. Now, one side in this campaign has been telling us that the issues of this election are the maintenance of peace and prosperity. The line has been used, we've never had it so good. But I have an uncomfortable feeling that this prosperity isn't something on which we can base our hopes for the future. No nation in history has ever survived a tax burden that reached a third of its national income. Today, 37 cents out of every dollar earned in this country is the tax collector's share. And yet our government continues to spend $17 million a day more than the government takes in. We haven't balanced our budget 28 out of the last 34 years. We've raised our debt limit 3 times in the last 12 months. And now our national debt is 1.5 times bigger than all the combined debts of all the nations of the world. We have $15 billion in gold in our treasury. We don't own an ounce. Foreign dollar claims are $27.3 billion. And we've just had announced that the dollar of 1939 will now purchase 45 cents in its total value. As for the peace that we would preserve, I wonder who among us would like to approach the wife or mother whose husband or son has died in South Vietnam and ask them if they think this is a peace that should be maintained indefinitely. Do they mean peace?
Okay, hang on just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to move you forward a little bit because there's an excerpt that I want to pull out here, and this is like kind of the crux of where I wanted to go. But thank you for your patience.
Some place to escape to. And in that sentence, he told us the entire story. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. You and I are told increasingly we have to choose between a left or right. Well, I'd like to suggest there is no such thing as a left or right. There's only an up or down. Man's old age dream, the ultimate in individual freedom consistent with law and order, or down to the ant-heap of totalitarianism. And regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. In this vote harvesting time, they use terms like the Great Society, or as we were told a few days ago by the president, we must accept a greater government activity in the affairs of the people. But they've been a little more explicit in the past, and among themselves, and all of the things I now will quote have appeared in print. These are not Republican accusations. For example, they have voices that say the Cold War will end through our acceptance of a not undemocratic socialism. Another voice says the profit motive has become outmoded. It must be replaced by the incentives of the welfare state. Or our traditional system of individual freedom is incapable of solving the complex problems of the 20th century. Senator Fulbright has said at Stanford University that the Constitution is outmoded. He referred to the president as our moral teacher and our leader. And he says he is hobbled in his task by the restrictions of power imposed on him by this antiquated document. He must be freed so that he can do for us what he knows is best. And Senator Clark of Pennsylvania, another articulate spokesman, defines liberalism as meeting the material needs of the masses through the full power of centralized government. Well, I, for one, resent it when a representative of the people refers to you and me, the free men and women of this country, as the masses. This is a term we haven't applied to ourselves in America. But beyond that, the full power of centralized government, this was the very thing the founding fathers sought to minimize. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose. They also knew, those founding fathers, that outside of its legitimate functions, government does nothing as well or as economically as the private sector of the economy. Now, we have no better example of this than government's involvement in the farm economy over the last 30 years. Since 1955, the cost of this program has nearly doubled. 1/4 of farming in America is responsible for 85% of the farm surplus. 3/4 of farming is out on the free market and has known a 21% increase in the per capita consumption of all its produce. You see, that 1/4 of farming, that's regulated and controlled by the federal government. In the last 3 years, we've spent $43 in the feed grain program for every dollar bushel of corn we don't grow. Senator Humphrey last week charged that Barry Goldwater, as president, would seek to eliminate farmers. He should do his homework a little better, because he'll find out that we've had a decline of 5 million in the farm population under these government programs. He'll also find that the Democratic administration has sought to get from Congress extension of the farm program to include that 3/4 that is now free. He'll find that they've also asked for the right to imprison farmers who wouldn't keep books as prescribed by the federal government. The Secretary of Agriculture asked for the right to seize farms through condemnation and resell them to other individuals. And contained in that same program was a provision that would have allowed the federal government to remove 2 million farmers from the soil. At the same time, there's been an increase in the Department of Agriculture employees. There's now 1 for every 30 farms in the United States. And still, they can't tell us how 66 shiploads of grain headed for Austria disappeared without a trace, and Billy Solestis never left shore.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was but okay, I'm back. So there we go. We had to me, a bit of a, I thought that was a little bit more, it's not only is it, of course, inspiring to hear, to hear that, but it also speaks to the same concern that I think most Americans would have, or you would think that those that are not ill-informed, those that have some level of being or not misinformed, that are not watching, mainstream media, that they would understand it's not only what's at stake here, or what's actually happening here. It's been happening for years. But I mean, I think there's a unique opportunity here, and that we are at it's a turning point right now. I mean, I think we're ripe for the taking, and you don't have to take my words for it. It's, the history you cannot change. You can change your mind, you can change your emotions about things, you can change your beliefs, but you can't change the history, and you can't change what's already happened here. And if anybody wants to hop on to this, you are invited. So I'm just going to plug this in for anybody that's interested. So there you go. If you're interested in hopping on, and if you have a comment, or if you have concern, as always, this is not a video, but then, there's your opportunity there. But shout out to everyone who decided to join me for this stream. But I just had to, I do follow Nancy Pelosi's press conferences on Thursday pretty consistently, but it's, there's never, she's obviously she's trying to sell. She's not doing a very good job, if she's trying to sell this bill to the American people. She can't. There's just so many holes. I don't really know. I mean, and then, of course, the press, I think when they ask her things, she talks about, oh, this is, I think they ask her, why is this not about a unanimous vote? And she says that it wasn't, that her members want to have the debate. You see, there you go. There's your power struggle, or your power. We're in control. We're going to make the decision. We know what's best. We're the elite. We'll tell you people what you get from us and how soon you get it from us. Let's see. Some comments coming in. Nice to have that. Chrysler Imperial says, I'm not sure. I think the word you're looking for is a snake oil salesman. Thank you for that, Chrysler Imperial. Check it out. All right. You're raising my bar. Let's see. Snapzilla Gorilla says the bankers are in control. Everyone else are puppets. Well, you guys are know the players. Right on, Snapzilla. I mean, you're right. I mean, what is it? Chair of the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell. They're taking advantage of this low interest rate that they keep talking about. And then she says, think big. He's encouraging us to think big. Well, yeah, just go ahead and devalue the currency while you're at it. Just What's the next proposal going to be, like 30 trillion dollars? I mean, 40. I mean, she quoted the, Newsom and Cuomo saying it's a drop in the bucket. Well, if your state's already bankrupt, yeah, it is. You got a lot of issues. Still here, host phone call. It happens. Thank you, Derek C. Williams. I'm glad you're still here. Yeah, but I just wanted to, it's just there's so many leaders that we've had so many leaders and so many that before that have warned about big government. And it just doesn't seem like we're quite waking up to, and I don't know if people are waking up or they just need to feel better, or I don't know what everybody's trying to feel good. I'm not sure. I think we're pretty demoralized. And then, the emasculation job that they've been doing. Let's see, I'm going to let some shout outs go through here. Try to not miss everybody. Quote, never let a crisis go to waste, end quote. Shout out to Rambo. Nice, Derek C. Williams. I love that. Rambo. Okay, so Spirit of Liberty, 1775 at Snap, the actual quote, which is a tribute to Mayor Amschel Rothschild, is permit me to issue and control the money of a nation, and I care not who makes its laws. Right. I mean, but then to me, centralized banking is a part of the Communist Manifesto. So, and where did we get that from? When did we become centralized? When did the centralization of the bank occur? And which party was representing that? I can't say crook. Which crook implemented that? Do I need to say that? I mean, we've been bankrupt a few times, folks. And every time we swell and do these things, the noose gets a little bit tighter. A few more generations, we're on the hook. Here we go. Snapzilla Gorilla is down with us. Spirit of Liberty, 1775. Yep. Federal Reserve Act, 1913. Yes. So we need to kick the bankers out. I did something on that. But our debt was paid off once upon a time. And so like I said, of course, like I said, the history is there. And we the people are going to pay for this for the tolerance and for what and for our inactivity as well. Some people think, oh, well, it's too late. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say that. Let's see, madam, Rahm Emanuel sent dead fish to his political opponents, I understand. He's referred to as, quote, Rambo. Wow. I need to look that up. That was the right hand of the Holio, Obama. Anybody heard from him lately? It's like, where are all the heavy hitters? Let me go ahead and plug this in. All right, Spirit of Liberty. Under presidential idiot Woodrow Wilson, the bill was signed during a lame duck session of Congress during Christmas holiday under the guise of unifying the banks to fight off Europe and the commies. Yeah, I think that was, the bankers, the oligarchs, all these, we've been under their control for a long time. But I do believe that I think that the president has made mention of, maybe wanting to back the economy on some level by goal again. And I don't know if he wants to appoint. I did a video on it. But he wanted to appoint someone, an advisor that wants to a more honest monetary system is what the president has basically, what I'm paraphrasing, if you will. Do your fact check however you want. He paraphrased that he wanted a more honest monetary system because you don't really know what they're going to do. To me, it's a shadow institution. It's the IMF. It's not on American soil. So why is it even called the Federal Reserve? Does anybody know that? I mean, it's why are we even referring to that? He's right. The Fed Act signed into law during Christmas break and little oversight. Yep. Yep. Sold us out to the bankers. So, we've got a lot of, I don't know, there's so much damage here. But like I said, it was never meant for us to have centralized bank. It was never. It's a part of bringing down, the nation. Definitely a nation that with a unique founding. And let's see, Patrick James Forums is still here. I appreciate it. All right, we got something coming out of Spirit of Liberty. Ron Paul was the last person I can recall in the history that really wanted to audit the Fed, and Fort Knox, the last president that attempted to, quote, check the banks, end quote, got his head blown off in Dallas, Texas. Ooh, yeah, I know about that. I know what you mean. Let's see, the Tree of Liberty, quote, the Tree of Liberty must be refreshed with blood of patriots and tyrants, end quote, Jefferson. Yes, or it gets stale, or they're stale. So good morning, Patrick James Forums from Chrysler Imperial H. All right, so like I said, we have a lot of, I'll take a moment to do some shout outs. Shout out to Spirit of Liberty 1775. Shout out to Derek C. Williams. I'm not sure if I'm buffering here or, yeah, but I just wanted to, come on for a little bit and just share with you guys a little bit, like some commentary and then some, of course, I tried to do something a little bit more refreshing. But also it's just, it's a reference. I will tell you that, when private citizen Donald Trump was running, there were many pundits that projected that his presidency or maybe his policies would reflect those that he was channeling, late former President Reagan. And I mean, at times, I can see in some ways I could see that. But sometimes I think he's given bad advice. I do. It's even during this crisis, I think he's given some bad advice, not just from the health, or the CDC, but even sometimes economics. I think he understands economics very well. I think he also knows what he's doing. But I think every now and then, there's a little bit of, there's a vulnerability, that I can see. Especially with the way some of these governors are handling, their lockdowns and whatnot. The things are getting a little bit extreme and a little bit expanded with the infringement of rights and what measures some of these governors are willing to go to. And FYI, tonight at 7 Pacific Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will have a special guest on Black Spring Live, and I will have a special guest on that show. So you're welcome to come on. We'll be glad to have you. We're going to be talking about some of these draconian measures, some of what we're seeing, talking about stimulus. We're going to talk about it all. I say, Derek C. Williams says, I say this because folks will tire of being stuck in the house. Not good for the country, since the government has LRAD guns and a ray gun and robot crowd dispersal robots made by Boston Dynamics. Absolutely. And I'm going to dig into that a little bit tonight. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are going on. And, we're going to talk about, in some cases, it looks like, we'll get into it tonight. Like, can we tell which side is contributing to some of these draconian measures and why? There's no pushback. What's going on? Let's see, one too many robots added. Oops. Right. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Derek C. Williams, always glad to have you and your support. He's an excellent content creator. Ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you get over to that page and have a look, look around, show some support. You know, hit the like buttons, you know, find your kindred spirits, and, you know, find that there's something, you know, that you know, I'm just, anything that's thought provoking, you know, on another level, on a basic level, I encourage anybody to think, you know, we got this time, you know, it's quarantine, whatever you call it. I'm of the mantra, like, every day, you know, or just all, my mantra is, you know, I learned it somewhere else, but it's not my original idea, but I learned to focus on learning and creating and less being entertained. And I think this time that we're experiencing this is excellent time for that. Yeah. So it's on you to figure out how to you know, to spend your time. But I definitely think we shouldn't go into November without questioning we got to start questioning the establishment. You know, the control is definitely, we're at risk. And I can see that, you know, we're ripe for the taking in many ways. So yeah, so if nobody else has anything, I love being here with you guys and on here. I'll do some shout outs and then I will tag out of this live stream. And I will be posting of course, there will be a post, or at least, I don't know how everybody's doing in terms of getting subscriptions or getting updates or getting notifications right now. But if you're not hitting the subscription bell, you're in no man's land for Black Spring, or even my other series, my other stream that's going to come out. Hi, Jerry's Passion. Thank you for coming in. Shout out to Jerry's Passion. How are you doing? Nice to have you here. Shout out to Derek C. Williams, Patrick Jane Forms, aka Killer Whale. Please get in touch with Killer Whale as well. Great content creator, great resource. I can't say enough things about Killer Whale. In fact, Killer Whale is one of the first people that I engaged with, I think, in my YouTube experience. And he's got great experience and great knowledge and great advice. And I think he's a great person. It's a solid person. Spirit of Liberty, 1775. Thank you for being here. Again, Patrick Jane Forums. Who else is still hanging out? Snapzilla Gorilla, absolutely. So glad to have you here. And that's another great content creator and very, very commanding of his content. So get connected, go check out the people, and, you know, check out their channels. Again, I think we can all learn something from everyone. At least I can. I think I can. I still can. Let's see. Who do we have? We had TG Tube UK. Shout out to you if you're still around. American Life in the Philippines. DeBar's Secret Recipe. I'm sorry I pronounced that wrong earlier. Where are my glasses? You know, even with the glasses, I didn't catch that. Let's see. Who else? So we had Amani Bonflow official. Adrian was here. Shout out to you guys. So it looks like that brings us to the bottom of that. Looks like I have a comment coming in. Here we go. As a rule, I don't really get, quote, too deep, end quote, as that pushes folks away. Cognitive dissonance is real. Americans' toys have been taken away, and now folks are forced to at least consider some of this stuff. Right on. I couldn't agree with you more. Hello, Gary Patterson from Chrysler Imperial. Got a shout out from Jerry's Passion from Patrick Jane Forums. So yes, so you guys can check out each other and see what, see what's out there for you from this channel. And I really appreciate everybody for being on and listening to my installment. Hopefully there was some inspiration from the Reagan 1964 speech. See, Patrick Jane Forum says no baseball, no basketball, no hockey. Chrysler Imperial H says no NASCAR races. Yeah. Guess they've distracted some of the fat. Did I say that? We'll see. We'll see. But yes, if anybody else has anything, if nobody has anything else, I guess just continue to wash your hands and practice your safe social distancing. I'm sure the liberals are enjoying the engineering of all these, the word salads and everything to come, and that one. It's probably gonna be a whole book written on social distancing. Okay, got shout out from Snapzilla Gorilla to Derek Williams. All right, guys. Well, I really appreciate you for being on. And with that said, I am going to wrap up this stream. And I will see some of you later. So this is my last time saying this. I will be on later this evening. It will be 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Got a hello here. And 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're around for that, I will tell you the guest on that program will be Old School Wolf. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with him, but you will see him on that. He will be the guest on the show later this evening. So Noni Mae Crotchet and more. Hello, Autumn. How are you? I hope you're feeling well and staying safe. Thank you so much, Noni Mae Crotchet. Thank you for coming in. You know what? I am doing well enough, and I'm happy that you came in. And yes, I'm doing my best to stay safe, washing my hands. I haven't been out today, and I think I may not go out today. They stay in. Thank you so much for coming in. But yes, I will be posting hopefully you get the updates for the show later this evening. Snapzilla says, we don't need to audit the Fed. We need to abolish it. I can get with that for sure. Manipulations. Bye, everyone. From Patrick Jane Forums. Let's see. You're here. Okay, so Chrysler Imperial H says, just as long as this BS is over before my birthday, which I know is probably not going to be, which is next month. Ooh, I got a question from Snapzilla Gorilla. Are you a Trump supporter of the autumn? If you're asking me if I'm a Trump supporter, I will say that I support America is what I'm going to say. And I'm going to say that because anybody that's going to support American sovereignty and not subsidizing American taxpayer dollars, that's where my support lies. And right now, that representative seems to be Donald Trump. So I will say, that's where I will say. And that's pretty, I could answer you directly. Yes. Until somebody else shows up, it's not selling us out. Or that's not trying to subsidize, that's not going to make America subsidize the whole world or come up with a wealth distribution scheme or undermine freedoms. And, that's who I'm going to support. Let's see. At Snap, I agree. It would be nice, though, to see where the rabbit hole goes. Graduating forums. I included you in building with notification bell as my family. Okay. Hi at American. Okay, we got some shout outs there. Thank you so much for that question, the Snapzilla Gorilla. Nobody's ever asked me that. No, I won't get that. I haven't gotten that. Not directly, I haven't. I'm sure it's coming, but let's see. Two wings of the same bird of prey. Well, I mean, it is, I will say that we're dealing with a lot of, I think that there's the spectrum or we've got a lot of forces. I'm thinking that that our framework is going to have to change. Going forward, whether it's 4 years or another. The post after the 2020 elections to me is where my bigger. I'm actually more concerned about that because my thing is we didn't get to where we are in 4 years and 3.5, 3/4 of 3 years. We didn't get inside of this time period. This is decades of both. We've seen both parties in my understanding have shown that they were willing to sell us out. So am I saying we have a safety net? I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying from what I can see at this time, I think it's it's safer. We have some safer places where we are. Now what the alternative is, they're not hiding anything about what they want. So let me get on to this. The only politician I really got behind, two have been Ron Paul and Cynthia McKinney. All politicians are crooked as dog's hind leg. I voted for Trump for laughs as I knew he'd win. In my eyes, he has made America great again. It's Chrysler. But Trump was better than Obama with the quote appearance end quote of being America first. Never would Trump bow to another head of state as Obama did. I'm tracking. It says, if anyone compromises freedom, they are your enemy. I hear you. But I'm going to say, I'm not a loyalist. I want that to be clear as well. I'm not a Trump loyalist. I don't agree with every single thing he does. I don't agree with everything. But I think the outcomes are, the outcomes have justified a lot of the means, is what I will say. I did say on a previous show that I voted for former President Barack Obama 2 terms. Yes, I did that. And it seemed like a good idea, but I would say I'm not where I'm, I've had some time to grow and I had some time to that many of his ideologies, he had a remarkable way about saying things that didn't, appealing to people with things that didn't make any sense. He had a great way of doing that, very eloquently saying things that don't make any sense. And also with the propaganda out there, if you got the media supporting you, you can sell anything. So let me just put this there. Ouch, Snapzilla, but true. Let's all concentrate on our love and prayer and positive thoughts and unity from Nona. Thank you for that. Nona, let's see, got a shout out there. Let's see, there are layers to support. We will disagree on issues. It's the whole body of work, in my view. Very kind of you, Autumn. Yeah, because, Yeah, I mean, and I'll save some of this for another segment. But yeah, like I've got my, I mean, I have my questions about, I have my questions about some of the things that I've seen and some of the things that I don't agree with. I mean, Trump's style is not like anybody prior to him. You know, I've heard, you know, many people say, "Oh, he's not a politician." No, he's not. He's not. He's not. So I don't even know. I don't like to put people in boxes too much, but I do think that he came that he is coming from a place, or that I can find things that I think that support freedom, or in the long haul, I mean, that will support freedom. But I also see things, you know, that I do have questions about things. So yeah, it's a journey to me. I mean, we can put up landmarks, but we still have to keep going. We can tip our hats to landmarks, but we have to keep going. So with that said, I'm going to give this last shout out to Nona Mae Crotchet and more. God bless you all. Stay safe and be kind to each other. Thank you so much for that, Nona Mae Crotchet. And thanks everybody for tuning in to this live stream. Oh my gosh. Every time I get ready to get out of there, everybody keeps wrapping me back in. So we have Keith the Faith. I'm not a loyalist / cultist type either. Appreciate that, Keith the Faith. I appreciate you for coming in. But for anybody that's interested, and I said I wasn't going to mention it again, you will see the notification. Hopefully you will. But I'm telling you, because I've seen a lot of my notifications not come in. If you're not hitting the subscription bell, you're not going to get them. And if you're having an issue with the subscription bell, please let me know. Drop a line somewhere. Yes, please drop a line somewhere for me. My email address is in the about section. And let's see, we have one more comment. So at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I will be going live with Old School Wolf. If you're interested in that, he will be here. And of course, anybody is welcome to hop on. I will tell you, just for some rules of engagement on that live, that I will keep it to, we'll do one at a time if anybody wants to jump on. I won't expand it to the full capabilities. I think maybe this platform maybe allows up to maybe 6. But this will be streaming via YouTube, and it will be with the guest and whomever else wants to get on. That is Old School Wolf, and that's OLDE. He spells it with an E. He spells it with an OLDE, School Wolf. So, you know, you can jump on and you can look around at his platform if you want to go over there now. But he's been on other platforms, I believe. But, you know, this is a smaller YouTube. This is a small YouTube channel here. Chrysler Imperial says Ronald Reagan was an actor before he became governor of California, then became president of the United States. Yes, that was a very an interesting track. A track that we don't all a track that I don't know if we all yield to that track, or that track fits everyone. So I'm going to do this one. It says, respect due to Black Spring with Autumn. Derek loves your work, supportive for life, or at least while this platform is up. Right, it happens. Take care, ma'am. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams. And absolutely, I'm a supporter of yours for life, and I will see you next time. And for who we have here, most important is what did we contribute as individuals, persons, for the welfare of the community. There's no such as a perfect government. Okay, we got a shout out to the chat room from Derek C. Williams. And Keith the Faith says, I can't find his channel. You know, I think it's kind of, you know, I had a little bit of an issue with that. Let me type it in here. I'll let him know that as well. But you will see me go on live if, you know. I think it's also, he has like a productions. Oops. think it's all like to get smashed together there. So there we go. Okay, so Autumn, we can definitely touch jump on my first podcast if you decide to join me. Yes. We will talk for sure. Snapzilla Gorilla. All right, and thanks so much. I appreciate it, Snapzilla Gorilla. I will be in touch with you for sure. Okay, all right, guys, have a great rest of your, I guess, can I say morning for the one end and lunchtime for the other end. You guys have a great rest of the day. Thanks for joining for the live stream.